Oh, by the way, I re-looked into the how to put music.
Oh, did you look at it?
I looked at it again.
I'm so glad you looked at it.
I think there's a mixer involved. So
I feel like I have no ground to stand on because I clearly am not putting the music to our show. So I am backing down. I will not complain about something that I am not offering any help in. So
I know, but
when it happens, it happens.
Yeah. It'd be fun to have a little music.
Well, you and Patrick already came up with the song. Now it's just a matter of putting it out there. I think the song you created is perfect. And by the way, I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise. And how do you know we started the show? Because there's no music.
How does anybody know?
It's called the cold open.
I'm not even sure. Well, today is Wednesday and we're very excited. We've got a guest coming up. But before then, would you like to update everybody on your rowing situation and where you're at with all that?
Oh, I had 23 minutes before we started the show. Patrick's cooking. My rowing takes 20 minutes.
Okay.
And I was about to just throw in the towel. Said, just go get the computer set up. No. Boom.
Do it.
Got my 2,000 meters in.
I'm so glad. It's important because don't you feel like a better person when you get your stuff in like that?
And it's so easy to say, it's all so easy to take a pass on that stuff, right?
So easy. Yeah.
Where the hell are those French fries?
Oh. Go, sir. You know you have this tray.
Thank you.
Here's some salt because I know you like it salty.
Is this the Jewish salt?
Now wait, is Patrick not eating fries, but he's fixing them for you?
No, he's eating fries, please.
We're not insane.
We're not insane. We're running a cult here.
He puts his salt in his ketchup.
I think that's brilliant.
Oh no, that's really smart. I've never tried that. I love that.
I invented that 30 years ago. I invented salt your ketchup.
Does Patrick salt his fries, or is he that kind of a vegetarian?
He's observed me. I don't know if you saw one crow digging a bug out of a beetle out of a tree with a stick, you're showing everybody how it's done.
Yes, but also Patrick, since you're the cook, do you put other seasoning besides salt on your fries?
You know what I normally do, but you know what I said? Just salt this time. I think it almost interferes. So I haven't tried this yet, but usually I put this Cajun seasoning on there. But
yes, I love different seasonings. We discovered this thing that you can, it's for bagels. It's for an everything bagel. It has all the seasonings. We put that on everything now because it has so many great things inside of it. So I use that on my fries and popcorn and everything.
do you have jardinera in New York? You familiar with that?
I am not, but I'm not a big kitchen person. Probably Will. I mean, Will has everything. When you open up our cabinets, it looks like a coven of witches live here. There's every kind of like
Newt.
Yeah, he doesn't buy like store brand. It's like organic, pure. This lady made this person does that. So I don't know what half this stuff is in there, but I'm sure that if it's a known, he has it.
Yeah, everything is next to the pot.
Everything. He took over the kitchen. I don't put anything. One day I put a spoon in the wrong place and he let me know that's not where that goes.
Where's the paprika? It's next to the pot. Oh, here it is.
Everything. He has a whole thing of all the seasonings and spices right next to the stove so he can just do his thing. But what's the thing you're talking about, Patrick? I've never heard of it. Is it a season?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
What's it called?
Is he in the show or not?
Well, I think this is the way to get him in. Patrick just has that thing about him where you got to let him do it on his own terms.
He's like a feral cat.
He's like a little baby feral cat. And
put food out and see if he comes, to see if you can scratch him a little bit and he runs away.
Oh, yeah. We'll start out with
he's coming.
Okay. And that's what happened to me the other day. Okay.
That's not the jardiniere.
It's not. Or are we talking about the jardiniere? Or are we talking about the Cajun seasoning?
The jardiniere. I have
Okay, he's gone now.
Okay. So we just lure him in bit by bit, right? Until eventually he doesn't even realize he's a full-time person on the show.
It's like killing a frog with boiling water.
Yes, exactly. I think
one of us.
One of us. He's so naive. I think he'll fall for it. So
hey, your guy's on here in 2 minutes.
Oh, is he really? Okay. Well, that's all right. We'll talk about other stuff after we wrap with him.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be fun to talk to James and hear kind of, because I don't know the whole story about how he became so successful with his, with his profession. When he gets on, I'll let him share that. But Patrick's taking a long time to find the Chardonnay. I mean, this could be the thing that knocks him off this show.
I think it's a local thing. Chardonnay is from like Chicago. And Patrick's friend was from Chicago that he came visiting us. And he was like, where's the Chardonnay? Pat was like, what are you talking about? See, I eat the beef sandwiches. I go to Portillo's. I have those. I indulge in the bad stuff.
Yes. And so this is something. Oh, so it is store bought.
Oh, yeah.
But
which is here.
Well, spin it around. Let's have her look at the backside.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like pickled peppers, carrots, onions.
Oh,
and
okay.
then
It's all oil too. It's
oil and vinegar.
I will tell you this, Will pickles eggs and he makes his own pickle. He's that guy. He pickles all of his own stuff. So
yeah. So
I'll ask him.
Lynn, you are or not impressed?
Oh, I'm very impressed. I have no idea what that is. I'm sure it's good. I just am not a kitchen person, so I wouldn't think to add something like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting.
Well, it can be a problem because it can clutter your fridge if you're not careful. You buy something like this and it sits for, 30 years.
Put it in, Patrick? What do you use it for?
Well, the roast beef sandwich is the classic Chicago thing. But I was putting it on pizza. I was going to put it on the hamburger, but I forgot.
Oh, on the hamburger would be very nice.
And it can come mild and it can come spicy.
Yeah.
And Tom is spicy. Patrick, are you mild or spicy?
I'm not as spicy as Tommy. I'm medium. I like a little heat, but he can handle it.
If you stand in the camera and we only see your torso, people are going to think we're doing a sex show.
He's not fully committed to the show. This is how he's been since the beginning.
You see, this is exactly what... You know what? I haven't been dating for a while. You can't do that, Patrick.
Schrader's in. You're in. Say goodbye to Patrick.
See you.
Bye, Patrick. See you later.
He's coming in hot.
So
get on your best behavior. Our guest is here.
Oh, and look at him with this professional setup. This is our James. James is here. Can you hear us, James? I can't hear.
And he's out.
And he left. See, for all the professional setup, it doesn't. Sound is everything, guys. Can you hear us now, James? Can you hear us? No? Okay. Well, we're going to use the famous Zoom sentence, which is you're on mute. Are you on mute? Not yet. I can't hear you yet, but he's looking at the button.
He is connecting the audio. Ask to unmute.
And then do you have to unmute him though?
Nope. He's got his microphone is on mute on his end.
There we go. There we go. Technology.
And that's our show.
We did it.
Well, I like your professional setup, James. So we've kind of teased you in. We haven't told anybody what you do. So welcome to the show. We're very excited to talk to you. So can you introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Wow. Sure. Hi, everybody. First, thank you guys for having me. My name is James Schrader. I am a comedian. I have also I've been doing comedy for about 8 years here out in San Diego and around the country. And in the past 2.5 years, I've got into commercial work with mainly Dr. Squatch, which is an all-natural soap company for men. And that's just turned into more commercial work and writing and a whole bunch of stuff. So now I'm in this weird commercial space where we just, I don't know, we've got somewhere around over 500 million views on YouTube for our commercials. And then we just did a Super Bowl ad. So
we're bearing the lead. Melinda, I could have said that. He was on the Super Bowl. James was on the Super Bowl. What is it, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago? It was amazing. He did the Dr. Squatch soap thing. It was crazy.
Well,
great job.
James, from the start, those commercials were ridiculous. And I'm sure you had to know when you're shooting them how good they were, right?
He had no idea. It was all an experiment. Like the first one we did was an accident. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's a total accident that I even got involved in this. Like I happened to be doing a show. I wasn't even on a show. I went and popped in because it was a Thursday night. And I was like, well, I'm not booked anywhere. I'll just go down to this, club that I go to a lot. And they kind of slid me on the show, and somebody with the marketing firm happened to see me.
No way.
And a week later, they're having a meeting about like, hey, we're going to do this Squatch thing. We need a guy. And there was a couple of them that were at the show and they were like, what about that guy? And then they found me, they called me.
No way.
I helped them write the script and we came up with the script. And then there was like 6 of us in the backyard of an Airbnb out in the woods. Like, I hope this works. And it, you know, we made magic somehow. We accidentally made magic. And that has turned into over a dozen more ads that are just killing it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. And I mean, the company's doing fantastic. And then now we got a Super Bowl ad. So,
so did they even suspect that they were filming a Super Bowl ad when they were filming it, or they're just getting a can?
So we shot that about two months before the Super Bowl, because there's all these requirements for like, you have to give CBS the script and then they have to approve it, and then they have to see the first edit, and then, you know, so we knew when we shot it that there was like a 15% chance that it was going to be on the Super Bowl, because one, they didn't know how much it was going to cost, because it's like some bidding thing where
like
there's
$5 million buy-in.
Yeah, and it's something how like some companies buy right off the top, and they like, I want the first time out, I want the first this, I want, you know, and then there's like these things called floaters where it's kind of like if anything's left over, other companies get to bid on them.
Sure.
So we didn't know when we were going to play. All we knew was that like when we finally found out. And so I guess the time frame was when we shot it, there was like a 15% chance that it was going to happen. Okay. And then about 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, there was like a 60% chance it was going to happen. So in our mind, we were like, hey, we're shooting a commercial, just like all the other ones. It's going to get used in different places, and we're just shooting another great Squatch ad, and maybe it will happen. And then, you know, 2 weeks beforehand, they're like, it's like 60%, like things are looking good. Like if, you know, and then about a week before, it was like, it's happening. So that's when we knew, about a week out. And we didn't know when. We just knew during the first half, the first like unscheduled timeout is what we were told. Yeah. And it happened 1 minute till halftime. Everyone was watching. It couldn't have happened at a better time for viewers.
It was a great time for that, because you know, you didn't get buried after the game was over in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes to play, and you know,
or just, you know, sometime in, you know, the end of the first quarter when, you know, nobody's really like, this was like they were, you know, I think they were within 30 yards of the end zone, and it was a timeout. 1 minute till halftime. It was great. It was great.
That's when, you know, that's when the non-football folks are tuning in. When's that halftime? What's that halftime?
Yeah, exactly.
Show? Right.
Yeah. So that was nuts. It was like, and it's, you know, it's 100 million people all at once. Like the 500 million views on YouTube is amazing. Yeah. But knowing that 100 million people saw it all at once. Yeah. And that ad, like, I love the ad, but there's like one scene that I caught myself every time I saw it. I'm like, all right, I need to lose a few pounds. And I was like, great. 100 million people all at the same time were like, that guy could lose a few pounds.
Blame the
oh, the camera ad, that's real. I didn't know how real that was until we started making these ads. And I was like, oh, it adds at least 10 pounds.
Well, how has it affected you? Because you've been a stand-up comedian, and I feel like in social media, you can only promote yourself to a certain degree, but something like a Super Bowl commercial, how has that affected you personally since this has occurred? Like, have you had, because here's what I did right before the show, I Googled you just to see what would come up, right? Right. Did you see?
A lot of fraternity things.
What? Excuse me?
It had a lot of hits. Someone said, who's the guy that's in that crazy Super Bowl soap commercial?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was like, see how you get hits that way.
Yeah.
Have people reached out to you since then that you haven't heard of?
Yes, it was the day of was really interesting. I want to say within 4 minutes, I had over 100 text messages, and then like 50 to 100 DMs in my Instagram, a bunch on Twitter, a bunch on Facebook. Most of it was people I'd known in my life. We were just like, what? And I was like, I know, because I didn't tell anybody. Yeah. I told like my mom knew, my brothers knew, and a couple of friends, because I realized, and I'm glad I didn't, it came true. The whole time I was watching the game, because I knew every single commercial break, I'm like, is this it? Is it? Okay, it's not. No. Okay. Is this? And I was like, I didn't want to tell people so they'd be looking at it and then expect it.
Of course. Well, how many people were in the room watching with you?
I had my daughter on my lap. That was it.
That was it.
That was it. I was gonna have like one other couple over on, and I moved my TV out to my porch. I was gonna barbecue, but I happened to have like a little COVID scare the weekend before, like 4 days before. So I was like, can't do anything. Yeah. I got my kid, like, you know, so I was kind of isolating. And then but it was actually, it was perfect because I just got to sit on the porch. My kid was sitting there. We saw it, you know, and she was adorable about it. She was all excited when it came on. But I found that the whole time I was so anxious about when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And I thought beforehand, like, if I tell people, they're just going to be waiting for it to happen and anticipating it. But if I don't tell them,
It's
they're
a
just
lot
going to
more
be
fun.
watching it. And then all of a sudden my dumb face is going to be on their television. Like, and that's what happened. Because I just got so many people who are like, why didn't you say anything? I'm like, yeah, but your mind got blown, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
great,
it was a really fun event. I mean, it was great. And since then, I mean, I've picked up, I think at this point, a couple thousand followers on Instagram.
Yes.
A bunch of people have gone to my website and put their emails in. So like when I start touring again, I can,
That's wonderful.
trying to build that fan base. And that's my biggest goal in all this is like all the exposure is awesome. And I'm so lucky I get to keep doing commercials and we're making more, but it's more like, I can't wait to get back on stage. I miss it so much. And like, once things are really open and we can get back on the road, my goal is to just turn all this and come out and meet all the Squatch fans that are just excited about it. And
I think we're 3 months out. I'm going to get my shot next month.
Yeah.
Maybe June. What do you think?
June?
You live in Florida. It doesn't even matter. You guys do whatever you want.
We're kind of open. We're kind of open here. I mean, we do have
Texas just went full open. Did you see that yesterday? The governor was like, yep.
Well, Texas is its own country. They do whatever they want at all times.
He's trying to kill the rest that he didn't kill with the freeze.
So, you know.
I don't think he caused that, though.
Oh, well, he blamed the windmills.
So James is a stand-up comedian, and James and I met when I was doing like an open mic there in Tampa. I couldn't remember the name. What was the name of the place? Do you remember?
It was the Tampa Improv, wasn't it? Down in Ybor City.
No, right? Was it? No.
Yes, it was. We sat on that bench.
There's two comedy places in Tampa.
What's the other place?
The Side Splitters over in
Carrollwood
19, but then we were down in Ybor. That's where we met. Here's
the story I have in my head, James. The story I have in my head is you and I were doing stand-up at that other place in Tampa because I left. I realized I left my keys at the comedy place. I went back to get them. You were in the parking lot and you came up to me and said, hey, and that's when we met each other. And I thought, isn't that crazy? If I wouldn't have come back, I would have never met James. That's the story I have in my head.
That was some other incredibly handsome comedian. I don't know who that was. No, this is how I remember it. We were both at doing the mic or trying to get on the mic that was in the outer room of the Ybor Improv.
Yes.
And then afterwards, you and I sat, and I think somebody else was chatting with us for a while. And then you and I sat on the bench outside because it didn't end till like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then we sat there and talked comedy till like 5 a.m.
We did. Yeah, we did do that. That happened.
That's how I remember it.
Okay.
Well, we ended up at another, I know we ended up doing more than one mic where we met up and saw each other and talked. So.
Yeah. And so James does comedy. Tom also does stand up. And so I thought it'd be interesting for you guys to talk about it because a guy doing stand up is so different than a chick, right? So I feel like Tom and James, both of you guys have worked so hard. I kind of let it fall because of my job. I stopped doing it, but I feel like it's so important to keep going right, no matter what. And so I'd like to hear your experience with that because Tom did that. He just started hitting it really hard and all of a sudden he's hosting and he's, winning contests. And
I'm very low. James, very low. Well, it's true. I've emceed it. I've emceed at the Improv. I've emceed at Side Splitters and Snappers.
Right.
My goal this year is to middle somewhere. So.
Yeah, but not everybody does.
I appreciate that, Melinda, but it's just fact.
So James, tell us how you feel like, what helped you keep going and make it a success for you that you feel like, you can say, I'm a comedian.
Well, we're going to talk all pre-COVID. I mean, right. I left Florida. I kind of got the bug, like right when we met was right when I was leaving Florida.
Yeah.
And I was deciding, I was 30 years old. I just got a divorce. And I was like, I've always thought this would be fun. And if I'm ever going to do it, I need to do it now. Because if I go get some other job, because I just gotten out of I was running a construction company with my uncle for like 10 years. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do this.
Right.
And I was like, all right, this is my shot. Like if I take another job somewhere, I'm never going to do this. So I packed up my truck, spent 5 months on the road doing open mics all over, and then made my way to San Diego because my brother said I could live on his futon for free.
Nice.
And when I got here, I just started miking, and then it was, it turned into a couple nights a week. And I got to San Diego at the best time. Like I got very lucky because the scene itself was growing right as I got here. So it went from like a scene where you could get up 3 or 4 times a week to all of a sudden you could get up like 14 times a week.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
So I was just able to grind for a few years. And I got, as that boom happened, I got in at the clubs. I became like a regular at the La Jolla Comedy Store. They call it like the best of list. And the 2 clubs downtown, the Madhouse Comedy Club, and the American Comedy Code, they seemed to like me. So I kind of had like a quick rise, which gave me a lot of opportunity early.
Yeah.
And then I was just able to just keep going 5-6 nights a week for years.
That's great.
And then, and that's really what it took. And once I was doing, I don't like, cause I always felt like when are you like, I'm not a professional. I sure, the most money I've ever made off comedy, I think was like $8,000 one year, which sure as heck wasn't paying rent in San Diego.
Yeah.
So I always like had a job of some kind or something. So, I don't know when you're a comic. I'm sure as heck never been even now, I'm not a professional I'm a professional commercial actor. That's what pays my rent now. But, and then with COVID this past year, I think I've only gotten on stage 6 times. And I call them stages. 3 times it was a beach. Twice it was an alley. And I did one Zoom show, not worth it. No.
Yeah.
That's what Tom said. I can't imagine trying to read the nuance of this space if you're doing a Zoom.
There is no nuance. I felt like the biggest fraud because I was just regurgitating. You're just saying words with zero feedback. Like you're just like, say the words, set up, punchline, pause for hopeful laughter, start next joke.
I did an open mic last night for the first time since June. It was outside in a bar outside in Tampa. I said, I got to get up. It's been 8 months, whatever the hell it's been. And that's pretty much how it was last night. Everybody was just a male comic waiting their turn. Everybody was regurgitating their jokes, and it was like playing handball against the curtain.
Right.
Nobody's laughing at anything.
Nothing. No energy.
Dead.
I got booked this weekend. There's a club here in San Diego that they have like an outdoor space. It's kind of like a narrow, long concrete walls on each side. So you can get some energy going this way, but it still has an open back and an open ceiling. So the energy kind of just like flows out, but it's better than just the beach. The beach is horrible.
Terrible.
But I'm excited. Like I just miss stand-up so bad. But it's also like this weird thing of like, I don't really feel like I can tell any of my pre-COVID jokes. I feel like they're all lies. Like they're all like you're pretending that you're in this world where this didn't happen. I don't know.
I go home. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I got a lot of new stuff that I have no clue. Like I kind of told myself yesterday after I got booked, I was like, you know what? I don't know how they're gonna feel about it, but I'm gonna do, and I'm featuring. So I'm doing like 20. I'm like, I'm gonna do almost all new.
Ooh.
I'm just gonna I have all these new ideas, and guess what? Like you better believe in yourself enough that you're either gonna make it funny in the moment, or you're gonna comment on the fact that, hey, this wasn't funny. So
I think there's a lot of latitude these days with comics. The audience is a little bit tense because I did a show at Side Splitters in June, only half filled tables, and everybody's kind of holding their breath still. And the comics it was the second week they were back, and everybody was tense,
But I think people want, like, the thing I think that is in our corner is that all people want to do is go out. I think when this really, whatever this dies down or solved or whatever you want to call it, when it really opens back up, concerts, festivals, comedy are going to explode. I don't see people going to the movies. I'm like, people have been sitting on their couch watching a screen for a year and a half. Like they're not going to want to, maybe they will, maybe the big ones, but I don't see people just being like, oh, we always go to a movie on Thursday. Like, I think they're going to be like, no, I want to go to a bar and bump into people.
Right.
I want to rub shoulders. I want to hear live music. I want to see live comedy. So I think we're going to have a boom after this.
Hey, can I circle back and ask you a question about the soap commercial?
Sure.
Are you under contract to not compete against?
I can't touch any men's health products.
Oh,
so if you're standing at your bathroom sink and you can reach it, I can't promote that. But everything else, they're really supportive and like, hey, go do stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
so
they're great. Swatch has been really great to work with. They've been really supportive all along the way. They've helped promote me. They've, they tag me in their posts. They do things like they're great.
That's
they
great.
Really are.
That's great. So you can't do in 9 years come back and like what was the T-Mobile guy and the Verizon guy who was always wearing that yellow shirt?
Yeah.
Actually, it only lasts while I'm under contract. So when it's over.
Oh, so no 1 year non-compete, nothing. Interesting.
Yeah. So not that, I mean, that's the thing is people always ask, it's so funny to me how often I get DM'd once a day at least. Do you actually use this? Is it really any good? And I'm like, first of all, would I say otherwise?
Yeah.
And
What am I?
Second of all, yeah, I do. Like I do. I use literally every product they have. I use because it is that good. Like,
right.
And I was worried, like when they launched natural deodorant, I was like, usually this stuff sucks.
Right.
I'm a little worried to go on screen and be like, this is the best deodorant ever. And then I used it for a week before we shot.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
It makes a difference when you're excited about a product. I mean, that's the business Melinda and I are in. We're selling things on TV, and it's nice when you get excited about something that you own, use, and can really get behind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's hard. I can't sell it unless I believe in it.
Yeah.
And I learned that the hard way because at some point there was like a little side project popped up and they were like, we'll give you $5,000 for the day. And I was like,
yeah,
money? I'm starving because I still got that like starving comedian, like money.
Yeah,
and I showed up that day and I made $5,000. And afterwards I was like, I don't know about this. Yeah. I kind of feel like I did this for the wrong reason. So you learn. And I think that, you gotta go through that. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now as you get more and more notoriety, you're going to have to learn all the trappings that people get when people start stalking them and following them, right? Because with Tom and I being at HSN and QVC, you have a certain level of notoriety where people think because you're on TV, you're different. You have a different life. When in real, of course, you don't. So we get stalkers, we get people sending pictures, asking weird questions.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I know this is fresh for the Super Bowl commercial, but how many years has the squash commercial?
Coming up on 3, I think.
Okay.
I think we're like 3 years
You've
since
had
it first.
A certain amount of notoriety, right? Of people, reaching out. What's been some of the strangest? Have you had strange offers or opportunities from people where they're like, "Hey, soap guy,"
Yeah. Listen, there are a lot of healthy men out there that want to suds me up. That's what and I will say, and there's a few women. I will point out there's less women, but it hasn't been marketed to women though. That's the interesting part is like I remember at one point being like, wow, 170 million views. And like every now and then there'd be some DM of some guy be like, I want to come to, will you deliver the soap? And I'm like, all right, when are there going to be ladies maybe asking? And no, because they not a single dime went to marketing this to women because it's a men's soap. And I was like, oh, okay. So, but I'll take the compliments. Listen,
yes,
I've been told I am beautiful more times in the past 2 years than my entire life.
There you go.
I'll take it. It helps.
Delightful.
It helps.
There you go. Is seeing the commercial as much fun though as watching it? Because it is hilarious. Everyone is very funny.
I don't like watching them at all. It's like stand up. I can pick them all apart. I hate everything I do.
Okay.
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. They do well. I mean, if they weren't of quality, they wouldn't get the views. They wouldn't work. They wouldn't convert the product. Like I get that. And I am proud of all the work we've done, but I can watch every single one and go like, you hesitated there. You kind of missed that word and nobody else hears it. And I get, but that's like stand up. You finish a set and people are like, you killed. And then you're like, yeah, but I forgot that tag. I forgot that thing. I kind of flubbed that line. I totally gapped that joke I was going to do. Did it like, you can pick it apart. Yeah. So I'm the same way with it. Like once we shoot it, I want to see the initial edit. I might have a little feedback and then what's the final? Okay, cool. Like that's, it's, I don't like the term good enough or it's fine. Cause I hate that in what I do, but sometimes it just has to be. Sometimes like, no, this thing has to run on Monday. And the truth is, again, what I see and what I can hear in myself, nobody else even knows.
Nobody watches with a critical eye like that.
No.
Right. So what's been the most interesting, James, of all of the offers you've gotten? Have you gotten anything that you thought, well, maybe I should participate in that, or this person needs help?
It's been the coolest part, I will say, is I've gotten enough people. I'm shocked at how many people think I do everything. They think I write the whole thing myself. They think I shoot it. They think I direct it, edit it, produce the whole thing. They think I put it on the internet. Like they think I own Dr. Squatch. I do not.
What?
Yeah, man. So that's been interesting because I get a lot of people through my either Instagram or on my website that are like, hey, we think you'd be perfect. Can you make us a thing? Can you make, and at first I was like, I don't really do that. I don't really do that. And then I was like, well, you know what? I have really talented friends that have helped me write on all these things. So now I'm in a position where I made the mistake of thinking I might be able to do everything. And so we had a company reach out and we wrote them a script, and I got to hire my friends and I get to pay my friends, and that's awesome. That feels really good, especially comics that, you know, they're not doing shows. They're not making any money right now. So it was nice to be able to, you know, send them some money. And we wrote a script. I was going to be in it, and I kind of agreed on that at the beginning. I was like, okay, I like this product. Like I'll do it. And then I produced it, and I was like, okay, so we need a location. We need to hire a camera guy who's going to edit it. We need a sound guy. We need, okay, what plants do we need? Who's getting lunch? Everyone needs to have COVID masks, and we need to do temperatures. And like, and once I did that one time, I was like, I'm not a producer. If I'm there thinking about how am I delivering this line, I shouldn't be thinking about what the shot, the angle of the shot, the tightness of the shot, and when's lunch going to be ordered and who wants which burrito. Like, no,
it's exhausting.
So, and it's not my wheelhouse. I thought I could do it, and I could, and I learned I don't want to.
Right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
So, I did the opposite. I was a producer, and I was talent at one point at Home Shopping as a host.
Yeah.
And the guy wanted me to produce and star in the infomercial. And I was like, let me do one or the other. I don't want to be talent and have all that production stuff to do, or I don't want to be the producer and then have to put on my talent hat. And I did both, and it was a little bit of a disaster. I mean,
it gives me a new respect for like when you hear directors that like direct and act.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ugh.
You better have a strong team.
Yeah, that's really what it is. And I had a great team. Like the truth is, the people that I had working with me, I could delegate it all, but still just managing it in my mind. And I'm like, I'm a comic. Like what happened to sleep until 2 doing
no
sets
kidding
and then hanging out in the parking lot till 4 a.m. Like this is work. This is real. Like, ugh. So I learned that way that like I don't want to produce. But since then, I want to say we've been writing a script for somebody, and I've gotten pretty picky, and it's only like what is the product that I actually kind of believe in? What is something that I really think would work in the space of like YouTube or Facebook? And so I think we've done a script a month for the past like 5 months now that I've been able to like work with my friends, bring them in as a team, and like we do a bunch, we brainstorm the whole thing, we pitch ideas, then they all go off, then they write scripts based on kind of what we think the avenues we should go down, then we bring it together. Then my head writer / best friend, he and I put it together. And by he and I mean like he puts it together into a script as we're talking. He sends that to me. I kind of take a pass. We look it over. We send it back to the writers for punch up. We make a final pass. And that's been, I enjoy that process. And I enjoy kind of just like managing that. And that's the thing is like the offers kind of keep coming in. And the truth is, it's funny, like the marketing firm that made the Squatch ads was Raindrop Branding and Marketing. Most of the people that reach out to me, I'm like, oh, you should just call them. Like you want everything, you want a turnkey deal, like call them. They got the whole thing in-house. They've got an amazing team of writers. They've got everything you need. They'll shoot it themselves. They can help you with the emails, the web traffic, the money behind it, the buying. I'm like, just call them. But every now and then there's like a little one where they're like, well, we don't want to go that big.
Right.
We think we can produce it ourselves. And I'm like, okay, then we can write that. So it's been really fun. It's been really fun to just kind of have that new avenue and be able to help my friends and work with my friends.
I see you doing like tools and stuff, manly items, like
that was a while back. Yeah, we did a few for Works Power Tools, which is like a Canadian. They're big in the Midwest.
Oh, I know.
And that was a blast. But that was the Raindrop. They did the first Squatch ad, and I got to do. They had a few more people come in that were like, can you get that guy? And it worked out, and that was fun. I'm working with everyone there. I love working with, and we do really good work. I think because we know each other so well, and on set we can like really get after it, and like it's very open that somebody can be like, hey, try this, hey, do that, hey, what if we like tried this move and toss it in, and that, so it's a very creative space, and Raindrop creates fantastic products. So, you know, they between, I think, I mean, at this point, they've made ads that have done over $100 million in sales,
Wow.
like at this point or something. So it's
That's very
when it
cool.
was, I mean, the education I've received from them, just working with them, writing with them, working on set with them, the acting part, just seeing what it takes to produce stuff. The last 3 years have been the coolest education I've ever got. Like, I pinch myself and go like, this is my life.
That's
Like,
fabulous. But it all comes from taking a risk, getting in your car, heading out west, not taking that job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I've always been shocked that people are like, you're so brave that you did that. I'm like, I don't know. I kind of just decided that sitting at a desk wasn't for me anymore, because I did it for 5 years. I put on 30 pounds and the stacks of paper never went away. And I was just like, I've always wanted this thing. I should just do it. And I will say, at the time, I had zero responsibility.
Right. That's the time to go.
Yeah. So whenever you find yourself with zero responsibility, just do the thing.
Right.
It was like, I remember when I started, probably like year 2, I realized like I've never had less money and been more happy.
Amen.
In my life, because I'm doing this thing I love. And I don't mind. Like, it was funny, people visit or would come to San Diego and be like, what should we do? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't gone anywhere but comedy clubs. I've been to the beach and comedy clubs. That's it. I'm at comedy clubs 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week. I was like, I don't know where the fun
That's
spots
great.
are.
That's
I don't
wonderful.
meet people. So
yeah. Well, that's great advice. I mean, what advice would you give for people that are listening, saying, wow, he has such a cool life? What advice would you give for people that are just struggling to take that risk? What would you tell them?
making the decision is scarier than actually following through.
Boom.
Like
Boom.
it's leading up to the day that you know, it's kind of exciting and it's terrifying. Like, I lived in my truck for 5 months by choice. I put a topper on the back and I built a little bed in there, and I was couch surfing and camping and staying with family and friends. But I chose also to drive around the country. I was hitting open. I mean, this is for comedy, but you can do this if you're a musician, if you're an artist, if you're a busker, whatever, go find the places where the thing you do is happening. And that's what I did. I mean, I hit every club in every town I stopped in. It was like Charlotte, Richmond, DC, Philly, New York, Boston, Burlington, Montreal, Newport, Rhode Island, back to New York, to Chicago for 5 weeks. I did a long improv, summer intensive improv at Improv Olympic there.
Sure.
Which, if anyone, once that opens back up, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a lawyer. I don't care if you're a comedian or a teacher. Go to IO and do their summer intensive program. You will just be a better person. It will teach you how to just be comfortable, how to speak, how to listen, mainly.
Yeah.
And you will just be better at no matter what you do, you will be better.
I agree.
So that was a huge help. But that was what I just chose to, like, I'm going to go do this thing. I'm going to live cheaply out of my truck. I'm going to sleep in the back when I have to at campgrounds and state parks and things like that, which I love doing anyways. Give me a reason to go camping.
Yeah.
But I think it's like, go find where people are doing the thing you want to do, even if you're scared to do it, even if you've never done it. And this goes for, it sounds weird. My mom's 75. My dad died 16 years ago. And I feel for my mom, because she wants to do things, but she doesn't want to do them alone. Mm-hmm. And I think, and even hearing like friends of mine that are like single and they don't know where to meet somebody that's into what they're doing. And I'm like, well, are you doing those things? Because if you want to meet somebody that does what you want to do, go do them. That's where they are. So I keep, like, I've told my mom, I was like, Mom, she's like, oh, I want to travel, but I don't want to do it alone. I'm like, Mom, get a motorhome, start traveling. You will meet people that are traveling. You will never be alone again, because every campground has 15, 20, 70-year-olds that are your age that don't want to be alone either. And you guys can start at this campground and stay there for a month and then move to this campground. And there's going to be potlucks every other night and happy hours. And
amen.
You're not alone, so go find where they're doing the thing you want to do. And just go say hello and don't be an asshole. That's all you have to do.
Yes.
I love it.
That's the key to life. Say hello. Don't be an asshole.
We're making hats.
Please, yes, please buy that and own that. That is so good, because I find a lot of people can't accomplish those two small things. So what separates you from everybody else?
Well, thanks for spending some time with us, James. I've really enjoyed this.
I did too. Thank you guys so much for having me. It's a real honor.
Much success. We'll be excited to watch your career and watch it grow and see what next steps are for you.
Thank you guys.
I think James should be a spokesperson for my carry cart.
What is it?
Oh.
I sell a carry cart at Home Shopping. I've got an order for 5,000 pieces. I've sold about 25, 30,000 of them. It's a 4-in-1 cart.
Okay.
There's probably a link on the email that I sent you.
Okay,
Right,
I'll take a look.
Hook it up and see.
Hey, I'd love to come do like QVC. That has always looked fun to me. And I remember like talking with Melinda about it when she would tell me like, oh, like you're in it and you're on and you're like going and you see the clock ticking down, you see the numbers ticking up, and you know that you got to do this thing and that, you know, and it's like, and it's live.
It's fun.
That terrifies me, but also sounds fun because I can't, you know, you're under the gun, you're being positive, things are going to happen. You're going to open some tube, it's going to squeeze out and you didn't plan on it, but you got to play that off or you drop some, you know. So hey,
you'd be great at it, James. You would. All right, you two need to hook up. So we'll let that happen.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised if we ask you to do this again. It was a real treat having you on.
Congratulations, by the way. That's great.
I'd love to. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
James.
Talk soon.
Bye, everybody.
James.
Bye. That's great.
Good. So look at you getting like a work hookup and everything. Getting a superstar to do your carry cart.
I'm tired. Why do I do all the carry cart?
So yeah, and James is a Florida boy. His family is from Safety Harbor, so you know he's from the same state that you live in. But really great advice, right?
It is great advice.
Do the thing.
What else are you going to do? You're going to be, you know, people are like, I don't want to go to grad school. I don't want to go to law school. I don't want to. In 10 years, guess what? You're going to be 10 years older.
Well, and I love what he said, because a lot of times it's the thinking of it that's so much scarier than the doing of it. You know, we get ourselves trapped in our head, right? And
you're out of your comfort zone.
I know. So I love that so much. So yeah, for anybody that hasn't seen I think it's called the Squatch, like Sasquatch, the Squatch commercial about the men's soap and stuff. Yeah.
And I will add it to our notes.
Yes. And so it'll be in there, but they're hilarious. I think that's another good reason it's taken off, because it's just a very creative way to sell soap, how they've done these commercials. And James is perfect for it. You know,
he is perfect. I've watched the show, and, you know, you're always looking for that balance between authority and fun loving.
Yes.
It was just hard to come by.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want I don't want some wrestler yelling at me, but you got to be able to poke fun at yourself a little bit. I'm doing this sincerely, but with a theme of fun. And I think he hit it right on he hits that note perfectly.
Yeah. No, he did great. So how fun. I love that he didn't tell any of his friends he was going to be on the Super Bowl. I think that's hilarious. Can you imagine? I mean, I was surprised because I don't normally watch the Super Bowl, but I did because, you know, we had been doing the whole betting money thing. And I had no idea. And I saw James and I was like, well, of course he's doing the Super Bowl, because I had seen his commercials and they were hilarious. And I think for that kind of a format, I bet he does draw a lot of people in, because it just has the right amount of fun where you're like, I want to know more about that. Who's this guy? What is this soap?
And it's a great product. I mean, it's a great thing because it's a renewable product. I mean, he can just do that forever.
That's the product you want, everybody.
Consumables, baby.
Again and again. Well, so I've totally lost track of time. I have no idea how long.
We have about 3 minutes to go, because Daddy's got somewhere to be at 3:00.
Okay, we got to let Daddy go. Daddy has a life. Well, then let's do this, since we want to wrap it up. We do like to wrap the shows with a tip from Tom. So what is your sexy?
You like to wrap the shows with a tip from me.
Yes, I do. What's your sexy? I need a sexy tip. They've been very practical.
Wow. Sexy tip.
The sexy tip. We haven't given sexy tips in a while. They've been very, everyday kind of stuff. So
what was I listening to the other day? It was about a guy talking to women, and the guy's tip was, is this something we talked about? The guy was telling his buddy, he goes, learn to compliment people on a regular basis. Right? Just compliment, just observe and say something sincere and make a compliment. He goes, then when you compliment a lady, somebody you may be interested in, it will sound sincere. It'll come off because you've exercised that muscle of saying something nice. So when you
Okay.
say, "Boy, that blouse really, reflects nicely on your complexion," or something like that,
Okay.
looks good on you,
Yes.
then it's sincere. And so that might be an opening for people who love to hear compliments. I always think that, or sometimes think that, if you say something nice, it comes off as being disingenuous, or you're looking for something. No, just say something nice, and don't be afraid to give somebody a compliment.
Oh, I love that. Exercise your compliment muscles, everybody. Very sexy.
I'm exhausted with my tips.
I know. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
And we have unpacked some shit today with Mr. James Schrader.
Yes, and then we'll be back on Friday, right?
I know we have another guest. It's so exciting.
And then Helen Keeney's coming on the 19th.
Stop. I can barely stand us.
Book it.
What?
Locked. Oh, by the way, Patrick and I are driving home from Costco today. What day is it? Is it a Tuesday? I don't know. I don't think so.
I know.
Now I know the days of the week by which day we're doing podcasts. Well, I did a podcast yesterday, so today is.
That's exactly how I base my week. Even though I have shows and segments, this is the one constant in my life is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I know,
it's crazy.
It works. Whatever works. This has been my pandemic lifesaver doing this podcast. So.
Are we still recording?
Yeah. So I guess we should say bye.
All right. Bye, everybody. See you Friday. Did I hit the button yet?
No, sorry.